Welcome to Fuel Her Awesome, the nutrition pep talk to supercharge your week. I'm Jess, registered dietitian and empowered eating coach, here to help you take your health to that next level. In these bite-sized episodes, we cut right through the noise and blend science with biofeedback and values, all while teaching you how to trust your intricately and beautifully designed body. Because here's the deal, you are awesome, and life is an invitation to show up that way. But you can't do it without food. So let's lean in as we explore how to fuel your awesome with empowered eating. Hey friend, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to break down and rewrite swimsuit season because it is a hot topic in the ecosphere right now. Actually, my workout buddy came up to me on Sunday and said, Jess, I have 6 weeks until I have to be in a swimsuit. And while I know that's not what it's all about, it does motivate me. You know, I took a minute and thought, I get that. I get that. And being someone that has always struggled with black or white thinking, I think that's harder to navigate. And I wanted to break it down for you today. You know, as I was preparing for this, it really made me think on a couple instances that I've had in the gym lately. So a few years ago, I decided to do a CrossFit competition. And I thought I was doing it from a place of empowerment, but looking back, it was from a place of striving, 100%. So it was a season of my life where my husband, who was in gnarly shape, he still is in gnarly shape, but he was in especially gnarly shape. And I was feeling just some of those inadequacies creeping in. I don't know if y'all have ever felt this, but you know, sometimes we go through seasons where we just like don't feel like we measure up. It's like I was feeling like I didn't measure up to be his wife. I was feeling inadequate in my job at the time. Just a lot of lies going through my head. And, you know, I decided to do this CrossFit competition because it was for me. Well, I ended up doing it and it went horrible. I actually recorded a whole podcast on this called Facing Failure, and that was like a few years ago, back in 2023. But it just didn't go well. I didn't train like I wanted to train for it. When I showed up to the event, I was not prepared and I could not finish some of the moves. And at that point, I had been doing CrossFit for about 8 years. And so there was a part of me that really felt like I should have done better. I should have been farther along. I was really embarrassed about how I did. It was that old familiar voice in my head that says things like, you've been doing this for so long. Why aren't you lifting more? Why aren't you better? But what I noticed after that event was that that voice was not something that was going to help me grow. That shaming, that looking for a goal or reaching for a goal out of striving was never going to be something that helped me get better and grow and see how strong I could actually get. And the other thing I've noticed is that sometimes completely ignoring that voice or like in reaction to that voice, I've then swung to the opposite extreme, which is where I just show up at the gym without intention or effort. Like, I'm just here to play. I don't want to be coached. And I realized that this is, again, an invitation to grow because now I'm operating in two extremes. This is black or white thinking. So this year, I made a very quiet but powerful shift. I decided to rebuild some of my foundational strength. I worked with a coach and he wrote me some basic programming and it was humbling. I'm going to be totally honest with you. One of the things in CrossFit is that we can do these things called kipping pull-ups, which is like you use some momentum to lift your chin above the bar. And I can do a lot of those. But when I met with my trainer and he said, okay, hang from the bar and do a pull-up, I could barely do one. Like I didn't actually have the strength. I had momentum and maybe some gymnastic skills. And so it's been humbling, to be honest, but I have stuck to it for 5 weeks now. And today we had a clean and jerk day, a max out clean and jerk day, and I hit a personal record. If you don't know what a clean and jerk is, it's just this dynamic powerlifting movement. It requires both strength and skill. And I think in the past when I've done these, it was that old voice saying, you know, you've been doing this for a decade now, you should be better. And then it swung to, I'm not even going to try to PR because I'm not here to perform. But today was different. I did hit a PR, and honestly, I felt really proud. We have a bell that we ring at our gym if we hit a PR, and I never ring it because I'm embarrassed. I don't know, that's weird. But today I rang it, and I realized that this was different for me because I knew I had earned it. Not through comparison, not through extremes, but through consistency, through honoring the promises that I had made to myself. And that's really the heart of what I want to talk to you about today. We don't build body confidence by obsessing over how we look in a swimsuit. We build it by doing things with our body that make us feel proud, things that reinforce the deep down truth that you are worthy, that caring for your body can come from a place of purpose, not for purpose. Most of the conflict that we feel around body image, I don't think it actually comes from how we look. And I think that because I have met women in all shapes and sizes where their confidence doesn't match how they look. And what I mean by that is like I have sat down with supermodels who, by our culture's definition of beauty, actually meet those standards and they still don't feel confident in their body. I have also met women in bodies that don't line up with what our culture claims as ideal or fit, and they rock a swimsuit. So I know 100% that how we feel about our body has more to do with our mind than it does our actual physical appearance. But I think the conflict comes from when we don't create space to show up for ourselves the way we want to, or we're not real about the capacity in which we have in this season to show up for ourselves. So when you say you're going to do something for somebody else, my guess is you follow through. You make it happen. And the reality is we don't always do that for ourselves. I think it bothers us. And if we actually treated ourselves and our own physical body like someone we love, I think we'd feel a lot more proud of how she put herself into a swimsuit. When we take an empowered, aligned action every single day to care for ourselves, even if it's imperfect, like even if you have a goal and you hit it 70% of the time or 60% of the time, if you continue to show up for yourself, I know you will build confidence from the inside out. And that's what I experienced this morning when we did that clean and jerk PR. It wasn't so much about the number that I lifted over my head on that barbell. It was about the fact that I did show up for myself 3 days a week. And I'll tell you, some of the days the workouts got cut short. Some days I had to break them up into 2 different sessions. But 3 days a week for the last 5 weeks, I've at least shown up and done the best I could, and it made a difference. And so today I stood there feeling really proud of being able to do that. So today we're going to talk about how to prepare for swimsuit season through that empowered lens, how to set goals without becoming obsessive, how to stay consistent without burnout, and how to truly feel proud of the body you bring to the pool, the beach, wherever you're going this summer. All right, let's get into it. Now, as these empowered eating pep talks go, we are going to hit on this topic through the lens of our value compass. We're going to touch on a biofeedback boss tip, and then we'll tap into some nutrition science because collectively those 3 parts build our empowered eating mindset. So let's start with the values compass, which I believe is the most important part here. And if you're feeling motivated to feel proud of how you put your body in a swimsuit this summer, I want you to go back to the why. This is what about that? What about the swimsuit makes this important? And we're going to get deep here. So you may have heard this tactic before, but you ask yourself why 5 times. So in this case, it might be like, okay, I want to put on a swimsuit and feel good. Why? Well, because I'd be a happier person around my family at the beach if I'm confident. Well, why would you be a happier person? Well, because if I wasn't comparing myself to other people on the beach, I would be more focused on my family. Okay, so why is focusing on your family more important? Well, because that is the whole purpose of going on a family vacation in the summer, is so that I can connect with my family. So see how we've gotten down to the root here. The root is that I want to be able to show up in these spaces and not be distracted by how I feel in my body, but rather be present for my family. So the core value here is actually family. And I think when we hold to that, it changes things, because here are some realities about that core value. Your family does not care how you look in a swimsuit. Bottom line, I guarantee it. Your little kids, even if they have some funny things to say about your body, they don't care. The way my body holds body fat, I hold it right below my belly button. So regardless of how much I have, that's where it collects. I call it my cookie jar. And several times my boys have said, "Oh, mama, are you having another baby?" And so they'll say silly things. But here's the thing, like where Insecure Jess might get offended by that. Rooted and grounded Jess knows that they don't care. I mean, when I told them no, they were kind of like, oh. And then I used it as an opportunity to let my boys know that that's just how girls' bodies are. And my body is like that because I grew them in that belly. So anyways, that's another topic. But bottom line is that core value of family, they don't care how you look in a swimsuit. They are going to care that you are more present. So I think when we get down to this, it creates this opportunity to relook at how we view confidence in a swimsuit, because it's less about our body fat percentage at this point and more about how we step into that swimsuit and how we move in our body. And I think this really changes the tactics. It doesn't mean we don't do the next things, which we'll talk about in biofeedback and nutrition science, but what it means is that it's less about controlling our body and it's more about carrying our body. So that when we put the swimsuit on, we're not putting it on with a critical mindset and we're not sitting in our not enoughness. We're actually looking at our body saying, I have done everything I can to care for it within my capacity, within this season, within my values system, and I feel proud of that. So getting to the core value here and looking at it through the value compass is really important. Now, I want to say one more note, because any of you that are married or in a serious relationship, one of the common discussions I have with women is that they want to look better for their husbands, which I think is great. I completely get down with this one. I want to look smoking hot for my husband as long as possible. Here's the thing. How many of your husbands or your partners are telling you you are beautiful and that they love you? How many of them say that to you? And when they do you believe them? How many times do we hear we are beautiful? And maybe it's not even a partner. Like maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it is your mom. Maybe it is someone. Here's the thing. Why don't we give those people in our lives that we trust and we value, why don't we hear their compliment and let it be truth? Like let them speak truth into our life. So that's a little bit of a side tangent, but at some point, sister, you're going to have to believe the people you love in your life. If they tell you you're beautiful, you have to believe them. You love them. You can make that choice to believe them today, and I guarantee it's going to set you up to navigate these next two components of empowered eating even more empowered. Okay, let's dive into biofeedback. Anytime someone is looking at one of those shorter term goals, like my girlfriend was saying, she has this short-term goal of feeling more confident in her swimsuit come June. Okay, when we make these changes, first thing and foremost, we have to listen to our biofeedback. If you make some changes to your diet and your energy level dips, your bowel movements get messed up, you are not sleeping as well, that is your body telling you you are not eating enough, and we need to go back to the drawing board on getting you a better nutrition plan. One of the things that does drive me crazy about swimsuit season is that I see women starve themselves, or they're like, oh, I can't eat that because it's swimsuit season. If you are deciding to abstain from something because your body is telling you it feels better and it feels more loved and cared for by abstaining for that, awesome. That is your green light. If you're feeling broken down and tired, that is your red light, or at least your yellow light, to revisit the plan and come up with one that is more aligned with your biofeedback. Okay, lastly is the nutrition science piece. Now, this one is more technical because when we're talking about getting ready for swimsuit season, that could mean 100 different things. This is where knowing what your nutrition plan is and needs to be, that's in alignment with your biofeedback, in alignment with your value system, is really, really powerful. And this is where I would love to help you. Coming up with that plan in a one-on-one setting is truly so powerful. And anytime I do an intake with someone, it's about an hour and 15 minutes, but we dive into all those details and then can come up with something that is specifically designed for you, because you're worth that. You are not a cookie cutter woman that can just ask ChatGPT to cut you out some macros. Like, you need to have the details mapped in. You need someone that's going to say, hey, I notice your job schedule doesn't allow for a break at 10. Let's tweak your breakfast so that we can give you enough energy to hold you over until lunch. Or, hey, I notice you struggle with eating and emotional eating at nighttime or when you walk in the door. So here are some really awesome snacks that you can keep in your car. And because I know you live in Phoenix, we're going to make sure they're not chocolate protein bars. We are going to, can you tell how detailed this is? I actually worked with someone from Phoenix yesterday where we had to think about, what snacks she keeps in her car that wouldn't melt. Like, these are all details that deserve your attention and a conversation and a really well thought out, intentional plan. If you can partner that with your body giving you that biofeedback, the green light biofeedback saying, yes, this feels good, keep going. And it's all rooted in what's important to you. It's all rooted in a sense of purpose of who you already are, not striving for who you think you should be. This is the ticket to getting swimsuit season ready in an empowered way. Okay, 3 things I'm hoping you do as we walk away from here. Number 1, get rooted in your values. If you're feeling sucked into getting ready for swimsuit season, just do that value compass check and let's make sure it is actually in alignment with what makes you more grounded in who you want to be. And this is like an invitation for growth, not a requirement that you feel like you have to live up to. That's number 1. Number 2, let's get you a really solid nutrition plan. If you don't have one, there's information in the show notes on how to get connected with me, and I would love to write you one. Number 3, buy a swimsuit that makes you feel good. Get outside the box. Maybe you need to get away from some of the older cuts that you used to wear. I know my post-baby body fits very differently in those little triangle bikini bottoms than they used to. So I am wearing some high-waisted bikini bottoms that make me feel so much better. The one pieces are on point right now, but play around with the different styles. Order 10 different ones from a site. Try them all on at home in the privacy of your own home. Send the ones back that don't fit, but do yourself a favor and gift yourself with a swimsuit that makes you feel good as you are now. And then if you move through swimsuit season and you're taking better care of your body, either you're just going to fit into that swimsuit even better or you get another one. It's a win-win. It's really a win-win. All right. I'm so glad you came and stopped by today. Thank you for joining me, my friend. As we go into swimsuit season, may you live empowered, not just in how you feel you look, but in how you live your life. I will see you next Monday. Cheers and happy eating. That's a wrap on today's Empowered Eating Pep Talk. If this hits home, be sure to leave a review and share it on your social media, tagging me at Jess Brown RD. And girl, if you're ready to take your nutrition and mindset to that next level, I would love to get to know you more. Head on over to jessbrownrd.com to explore things like the Well-Fueled Academy, one-on-one coaching, and all the free resources I have to help you live, eat, and fuel your awesome. Until next time, sister, have an amazing day. Cheers and happy eating.